Not much focus with the slides, but I'll try to keep it engaging. That's pretty much I wanted to have it in place. Well, my name is Chidambaram Vetrivel. I'm currently working as an automation architect, and I'm working as a QA practice head in Densu Services. With me, I got my security specialist Venkatesh with me. So he's taking care of all the non-functional practices in our organization, and we'll get started. Yeah.
Hi all, good evening. Myself Ankit Belde. Currently I am taking care of security activities and as well as the non-functional testing in our organization.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people have worked with security testing actually. But of late, for the last 3 years, we've been processing papers with ATL, GTL, and every time we are making sure that we are processing something new in terms of security testing. Initially, we are the organization where we play with, we are working with different commerce giants like Adidas, Nike, all those great. With that partners in place, we always wanted to ensure the customer data is more important for us because we've been audited every year by the PCI DSS, I think you know, payment card industry data security standards. So every year an auditor visits our organization, he takes care of all the audits, he collects all the evidences, sees to it, and just gives us an audit, and he gives us that accreditation status for every year. So it's mandate for us to make sure that we get accredited this PCI DSS every year. And with that in place, we always wanted to ensure that the best practices that we follow in terms of security, so that we don't miss any sort of issues that we have raised in the past. And that's how it all started. And today we are going to focus more on how we integrated the security test using the checklist what we had. Then later we have slowly incorporated an MIA tool where we have identified the best practices of identifying the vulnerabilities at the most earliest stage. And then we brought in the concept of shift approach into our testing process where we have created an end-to-end pipeline job where we have integrated all the important facets of this security. And then that's how we have ensured that we started identifying this vulnerabilities at the earliest stage. So here we are more focused, we'll be informing like how we did this and what's the practice that we have followed just to increase the continuous threat exposure. So let's dive into that. Now, how best we have implemented a shift left side security approach? Because there are projects where we have a very shorter life cycle, where we have to do the security testing here and there, or on the verge of a sprint, we always do twice a time just to ensure that we don't leak anything in production. So due to this increasing in the cyber threat attacks, we always wanted the vulnerabilities to be captured at the earliest stage. So that's why we can ensure that we are preventing all these bugs and it will be faster to delivery. So what we did at initial stages, we have ensured that every tester in our organization is following a proper standard checklist where that has to be evenly poised, where he needs to verify every single sort of functional testing that takes place. Because by this way, I can ensure that there are certain issues that are not being captured by your tool. We will use the burp suit, right? Sometimes the burp suit not identifies most of the issues actually. So in that cases, we always rely on this security checklist. And then going forward, this has started giving us a lot of trouble where we have started identifying SQL injection. Sometimes we came across a third-party vulnerability where I can tweak my URL link where I can start seeing the end users data. So those are some of the vulnerabilities that we have started seeing in the major projects actually. So what we did, we have brought in an ML algorithm where we take the inputs that what we have collected so far from OS, Total and other vulnerabilities, and we have feed in as a project, and that has processed into the algorithm, and we run it in the pipeline job where once my developers commits code, we take a pull and we commit the code, and that code we will be running the first level of testing, that is accessibility. Then we will do the one round of security, and once that's passed, then we brought in a new plugin called Singh. I think probably people are aware of that. So that helped us actually to identify the vulnerabilities at the earliest stage. So by this way, I have ensured that before I pass on my build to my tester for testing, I make sure it is code free and we are not seeing any vulnerabilities. So once that is done, my security expert takes the build and start doing one round of security testing just to ensure that we don't miss anything. And apart from that, we also do one round of ad hoc testing onto the site, and just to make sure that the SQL injections are being captured at the initial stage. So here the most important thing that what we wanted to identify with you guys is the conventional security approach. This is something that we always used to do, right? So after you complete your project, you complete development stage, when QA is being passed, then we'll take the bit and we'll do it actually. So this way, we used to identify the bugs, but at a later point in stage, if there is some sort of injection is getting happened, that because you have a control on your application till you don't have any integration third-party applications. For example, in payment card systems, right, we have multiple payment systems that comes into picture. So there we always, we can't control that. Just to have that restriction there, we started doing this penetration testing as well. But ideally, penetration testing was proving to be more effective, but still we are identifying some sort of SQL injection queries where even the wish list, you can able to tweak your URL and try to add a wish listed project which was not earlier a part of it. So even that was a real challenging for us. And that's where we wanted to do this conventional way of performing this penetration testing was not happening. And that's why we bought this a traditional approach where we are introducing the security testing on the panel. I mean, in the phase of 2 weeks, we make sure that we do one round of security testing right on the front, and then once after the QA delivers support, we do it another way. But this is again a time-consuming process, right? Every time you have to have your security experts doing one round of burp suit and making it available. For example, if you have more than 20-30 locals, performing it on the multiple times, it takes a lot of time. So that's really an that's really a time-consuming process, right? So just to overcome this, what we did, we wanted to have this continuous threat exposure as a part of testing, because it's just an ongoing process, right? Like we wanted to identify, assess it, and just mitigate what are the security threats that might come across at the ecosystem. So we have practiced the best part. It's like we have created a model-based key inputs where it collects the user input data that we have received from previous years, and then we process it in an algorithm and just we key in that to the system. So the most important factors that we included in the key components are threat intelligence integration, then we do continuous monitoring, then automated testing. As I was telling that we have deployed a pipeline that's an end-to-end process where right from start with the developers build to the release phase, we make sure that we build out a phase, and that build out phase will be passed on to the next set of things. Like we mostly use Salesforce Commerce Cloud. So before the deployment to the staging environment, we always make sure that this is being carried out. And then we do a bit of routine exercises. And most importantly, we have been doing this adaptive incident response and a bit about the security awareness. Because not only this, we bring a practice that not only QAs or developers who get this awareness, across the floor we conduct a common audit to every people that includes of your HR team, admin, everybody. So by this way of practicing, we have brought the culture of getting this exposure to everybody so that we don't find any issues and we try to mitigate at the earlier stage. And that's how the continuous threat exposure we have started off. And then the most important aspect that what we see here is how best I can ease out this continuous threat exposure. Like what are the best ways I can do? One is by creating a proactive defense mechanism that we have already had. Then the improved incident response that we have taken place. Because the other common best practice that what we have followed is, for example, if a project A has some sort of security issue that is being reported, so we form a security team inside the organization, and that security team has some sort of level of security threat where if an issue is being reported on one project, the same issue is being tested across all the projects in the system actually. So that's just to ensure that we don't miss that in other projects as well. And the other phase that what I see here is, when we started doing the security testing using the burp suit, we wanted to keep it in an automated process where every time when you integrate or key in the resolved issue onto the system, we have make sure that what are the other possible options that I can face by getting other, for example, there is one incident where we had an SQL injection where if you key in the user ID, say XYZ is being replaced by ABC, you can see the third part, other customers' data, where when this issue is being resolved, there was a phase that the key part has been tweaked actually. For example, if I had a product to wish list and the same product is getting updated, I can see that issue again. So this is something was faced in my project, but in reality the same issue has been occurred in multiple projects across the same system because we have been using the same
and I'm like thinking like so okay, we can do one thing. So what I did, like I have informed to the DevOps team, so ask them to shut down the remaining parts, like for whatever the usage part, like I have taken like 10 parts for the services. Then ask them to shut down the remaining services. So after that, what I did, like I try to run the same performances with the same 650 users, and I have seen the performances like similar. Like I have observed like the previous results with the current results. So both are the performances similar. So after that, what I did, like I went and informed to my director for the project team. So we have followed the manual way, like we have saved this cost. So the team also, like we got the appreciation from the client also, like we have implemented some of the projects also, and we have saved the cost. So what I thought is like it's a manual approach. So the one step ahead, like I have checked in the internet, like there are multiple tools available to reduce the cost, because you know the industries, like all the IT industries and other digital platforms, they're trying to reduce the cost. You know, client also like trying to cut down the cost. So what I thought, like from cloud side, like we try to reduce the cost. Like we have I have found one of the tool called Path My Cloud. So that tool is giving my detailed report for the cost, like scaling events and all the cloud resource usage cost, like all the details I got it in the tool. So also like I propose the tool with my client, we can also use this tool. It's a manual approach I have implemented on the first thing. The second, we can implement this approach on the Path My Cloud option. So they are also okay with the things, and we have implemented. I know that there is some cost involved to implement in the tool also. So somehow like we manage the cost, and so finally, like when you look at the dollar pricing, like we almost saved around $12,500 for per year on the one application. So if you look at the organization is the client which was working in the quite big organization, and they have around 100 plus applications actually. So we have saved around like one application around $12,500. Like we have saved around $1,000 plus dollars we have saved on like all the applications. So that was the one approach for the traditional approach. So when I joined, I joined recently on the current organization CG. So I thought to implement this the traditional approach with the AI, like how we can leverage with the AI to reduce the cost for the not only the cloud along with the performance. So that's the reason like we have chosen this topic. Like I have analyzed with like how can we optimize with the different algorithms, like machine learning algorithms, how to implement the testing techniques. Also, like I have found the so before I am implementing these challenges, I have seen like what are the current challenges. So that's what like I'm going to discuss about the current slide actually. So before I am going to talk about the challenges, I have to give one example for the incident. Incident in the sense like, so all the companies are talking about to reduce the cost for the performance and the cloud things. So let's say like everybody is, companies are using cloud and everything, but back end like what is going on and those things they are not checking. So let's say I'll take another example. So one of the e-commerce company also like they have implemented the same auto-scaling policies on their environment, but the configuration, when we talk about the configuration on the auto-scaling policy, they have not properly configured the things. So due to improper configuration on the auto-scaling policies, like there are two things there. One is like the cloud cost is increased and also the performance is degraded. How means like the improper configuration lead to there is a instance, you know, like when we work on container-based applications, there is a when we start doing the test, like it is the instances like automatically adding the parts and it will spin up the things when you see the load on the thing. So because of the improper of the configuration, so it is automatically spin up more loads, and it is the cloud bill is also increased. Also the performance side, like so there is a auto scaling things is like improper auto balancing or the load balancing. So the load balancing, it is caused like response time is increased. Also like there is a service outage on their side actually. So both the side, like performance side also degraded and the cloud side also cost is increased. So that is one example we have found on the recent past in one of the side we have checked. Also like when we talk about the challenges, like so in the challenges is like it is not only like the high level things. We have found some 3 challenges on the cloud side. Like there are a lot of challenges, but at high level like we have found 3 challenges on the cloud side. Along the performance side, like we have found 2 challenges. So first, I am talking about the cost management. So when we talk about the cost management, like the cloud providers, like they are offering like more services like spot instances, reserved instances, and there are different. So when you are choosing the right instances, that may incur cost actually. So that is the first thing I am talking about, the cost management. Then coming to the data management, like so we have different data management. Like see companies are maintaining like different set of client data, sensitive data, all things. So when we talk about the data, like there are 2 things. One is data transfer cost. So data transfer is like, so when we have data, so we are migrating to on-prem to cloud. So moving the cost from one cloud to another cloud and one region to another region, that may also incur cost. So coming to the next, second thing is like storage optimization. So storage optimization is also one of the challenges for the data management. So we have to look for the what are the cost incurred on the data management. Also we need to look at this. And the final thing is like service integration. So service integration, like when you talk about the service integration, when you choose the complex pricing models for the different services, that may incur like different like it is affecting the different sector of different cloud services things are all we need to see. But these are all the challenges we found, but there are many challenges. We have seen the cloud cost challenges, but also like coming to the next thing, like the performance challenges. Performance challenges, like as a performance tester, I worked various domains and technologies. Like when we found out the bottlenecks, so currently recently we are working with the different APM tools and the profiler. We work with the tools to identify the bottlenecks. Is that to the cloud application. So in earlier we used like on-prem applications and other things. Now we working on the cloud to identify the bottlenecks is the major challenge. To identify the bottlenecks, to resolve the issues, we need the tools. The tools in the sense like Datadog and other APM tools, we need to resolve the issues. That is a pain point. To identify the bottlenecks, to resolve the issues, also one of the headache for the challenging things. And latency management. So when you talk about the latencies, like reducing the latency, like say like global reach application, like one of the UK or UK applications. So global reach application, when we reduce the latency, we have to talk about, we have to see many things. One is like efficient caching, and then leveraging the CDN networks, and so those are all like incur cost actually. So we have to think about these are all the performance challenges. And so in order to avoid these challenges, we are as a team, like performance a team, like we come up with a solution. So if you implement implement all these solutions, like we may achieve this ESG. ESG is nothing but like environment, social, global initiative. Objectives. Also, like we can maintain the long-term sustainability. Over to you.
So when we are talking about cost reduction, we usually think of reducing the resources. So, but cost optimization is not actually reducing the cost of the resources or eliminating the resources, but it is more about spending smartly on the resources. So we do have traditional ways to optimize the cost and performance both, but let's talk about how AI can help us. So if I talk about intelligent workload distribution, so here it plays it's a very powerful approach which will focus more on both cost and performance. So basically here it will be like auto scaling feature is already there in cloud, right? But when we are talking about the intelligent solution, it will be like having the scaling power based on the real-time demands. So also we have real-time anomaly detection and data detection policy. See, right now we have a very vast amount of data, and data security is one of the major challenges. So with the help of AI, it can detect the anomalies based on the historical data analysis and help us to give or resolve the problems at the early stage. So if I talk about cost and performance, both are interconnected. If we are working on the performance, automatically we are working on reducing the cost. Okay. So we do have optimization techniques, but there are some challenges to implement it. So we have automation, intelligent auto-scaling, data retention policy, all of those pointers are there. But we don't have a unified visibility for all those data points. And also it requires a lot of data collection from diverse sources, and it's a manual activity, and also it is more prone to a human error. So to reduce it or to overcome it, we need some solution. We need some centralized pipeline or centralized solution which can give a single pane view of all of this, and which can create a report and which will be useful by the DevOps team, cloud service providers, and the
Okay, so we'll start with panel discussion with an introduction. I think we just have a marathon of sessions back to back without giving much time to our dear speakers and panels who are here. So we'll start with introduction. Before we start with our speakers' introduction, I'll introduce myself. I'm Harpreet Kahai, who had been anchor for this track and now moderator for this panel discussion. The topic of today's session is importance of performance testing and engineering and security testing. Since we have performance testing and security expert, make sure you wait to ask them. So we'll go clockwise and then reverse. So can we have introduction?
Hi team, my name is Chidambaram. I'm working as a test automation architect and a QA practice head for Microservices. And I'm also taking care of the non-functional part.
Hi, my name is Venkatesh. Currently, I am taking care of all the non-functional testing activities in my current organization, that is Resiliency Global Service.
Hi, I have about 17, I'm Mithun, by the way, and I have about 17 years of experience in test automation, performance, security, and non-functional basically. Currently, I am working with a company called Kotian in Pune. We are making test automation tools and so on.
Hi everyone, my name is Ankit Singh and I'm working as a principal product security engineer with Autodesk. Before getting into security, I was doing functional testing, automation, stepped into performance testing as well, and then again rolled my sleeves back to security testing because that's what I'm doing. So hope I'll be able to answer your questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Pooja. I have around 11 years of experience into performance testing and engineering. Currently, I am working as a performance test manager with Capgemini Society.
Hi everyone. So myself Ramachandran. So I work in Capgemini. So I have around 12 plus years of performance testing and engineering. So basically, like I worked on mostly like banking domain and financial domain. So currently, like we are into society performance practice. Like we are trying to do some innovative things, like kind of the cloud things and other performance things. So that's all.
Thank you, Ram. I would will go reverse now. Now, on behalf of audience, I would like to know how did you started your journey into performance testing and engineering. I'm sure that would help many who are looking forward to or some insights to.
Okay. Yeah, so my performance journey, so when I started my career as a functional tester, so I worked in it's a small scale company, like around 70 or 80 members in the team. So when I working on the functional testing, like I have the team, like like the company, like they have, it's a SEO based company, so they are also looking for some performance optimization in another client. So can you do the performance testing? So they are asking, like, as we are part of the, we are 2 members team in the performance, like in the functional team. Myself, one of my colleague, we are the 2 members, and so my it's a small company, as I mentioned. Like the CEO come and asked me, I'm doing any performance testing. So I said, like, I don't know, I know only the manual testing thing. So he said, like, just start explore things. So one of the client is asking the performance and thing. So I just started, like load runner. Initially, it will come with some 50 users license. So I just explored the load runner. We can download it in, I think when I started working, it's load runner is 12.0 something. I just started exploring like how to do the things. And now we have videos available in the YouTube. So when I started my career around 12 years back, like, so we don't find much videos on the internet, like in the YouTube and all, we don't find much videos actually. So I did some first project, but there was some issue on the things. So okay, after that I recall, okay, we have to change the mistake. So I started working on the different things, and finally, like now I have, like, recently I've done the POC and one of the new tool, like so. That was my career, like with a small company. I started learning the performance things. Now I'm in this position. So,
Pooja?
Okay, so just like all the freshers, I was pushed to one of the projects where performance testing requirement was there. So before that, I was not aware about performance testing at all. But now, after 11 years, I think I'm glad that I was pushed by the RMG into performance testing, because it's a very challenging field where I have learned a lot. Like previously, I was just aware about the software testing, and 1 plus 1 should give you 2. That was the testing I was aware. But if 100 of users are doing 1 plus 1, then it should give you 2. That I learned to know when I started performance testing. So yeah.
Ankit, you had a journey exploring all the roles.
Yeah, basically, I was campus placed into L&D Infotech, and so I didn't know anything about software testing, honestly. I did pretty well in my batch, so there used to be some tests which were being conducted. So I'm talking 10 years back. So I passed that test, and I think I scored 98 percentile. And what happened is, there's a funny story behind this. So what happened is, so every of my friend was getting development, Java development, etc., etc. I didn't knew about software testing. Nobody spoke about it in our colleges, and I think most of you will resonate with the fact that nobody talks about software testing still till date. So when I came to software testing, I just wanted to understand what goes inside software testing. And somebody said, you will be called a tester, and I was like, what? Tester? No, I didn't want to do this. I want to do security. I want to become a hacker. And I'm like, no, you don't have a choice. So basically, we decide upon, so that was the HR's comment, we decide upon who is fit for what role, and that's how we allocate projects. So we used to call that culture as a black box culture. Anybody would get any project, I don't know what was the parameters by which they would select it. I did functional testing, I was trained, I did my ISTQB, that's where I got in touch with ADA. One thing about me, call it good or bad, I just cannot do monotonous things every now and then. So every day I need something different to try upon. I got pretty bored, I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, by writing test cases, changing the tense in Jira, and saving it, generating reports. Okay, I am done. What next? So I had some background with coding, coming from CS engineering background. So I used to see a guy in my team who used to run script. So he used to only prepare script for 2 days, and 3 days he used to sit idle, folding his hand and watching the script. And I was like, I want to become like that guy. Everybody is updating the test case. My hands are paining, changing tenses. So what should I do? I went to him and asked, what is this what you are doing? So he said, this is automation testing. I googled, I had that curiosity. There was a website, Tools QA or something like that at that point in time. I used that website, did some self-study, learned Selenium automation by myself, and then transformed myself into a UFT automation tester. From there, I was posted to Shivaji Nagar office of L&T. There my team was doing performance testing. I wanted to see what goes around with performance testing. I started troubling people. Hey, can you tell me what do you do there? So they used to use APM. I didn't do it full-fledged, hands-on on performance testing, but I know like how it is being done, what needs to be done there. I know the process. No, this was not settling for me, honestly. I wanted security testing. I started pulling down people's like, hey, how to get into this? And everybody who used to turn to me say, submit your ID card, leave the organization if you don't find this project fit. I was like, how will this work? Then I met the testing service line director who said that there are a few industry recognized certifications, do it. We have projects, maybe we can, like if you clear down the interviews, we'll get you into the right team. That's where I landed into my dream job of getting called as a security tester. I didn't knew the term called ethical hacker. I only knew one term, hacker, because back when I was in college, there was a guy called Ankit, he's still there. So he wrote a novel and I was very fascinated about that. Someday I want to be like this guy. I don't know what he was doing, but I wanted to be like that. So there was a workshop which was conducted during my college. I found my first vulnerability there. And during college, I used to perform pen testing, which is also called as bug bounty, which used to reward. So someday I would receive some t-shirts, someday I would receive some other swag, and I was happy with it because I was getting some additional income, like $100 to $100.